So to initiate the event, please all welcome the Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Chair of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council of the Philippines, the founder of Go Negosyo, Mr. Joey Concepcion!
The last 14 years, Go Negosyo has been advocating that the way forward for our country to succeed is that no Filipino left behind. Digitalization is not only pro all. Together with Go Negosyo, created this massive event called Sign Up.
Magnegosyo saan ka secure ng future mo, ikay laging ligtas. Delivery na mabilis, lala mo grab food so fast. Gusto mo laging kompleto, para mo at grocery. Bakit di ka mag-Lazada o kaya ay mag-Shopee?
2 years and 7 months na po ako sa Angkas. Dati po akong restaurant manager ng isang fast food chain. 6 years po akong restaurant manager. Ang basic ko dati, nung restaurant manager ako ng isang fast food chain, 30 hanggang 35,000. Sa Angkas, sa isang linggo lang, kaya kong kumita ng 10 to 12,000 a week.
Nakatambay mag-grab food ka, kahit anong menu ang gustuhin ay maiahatid niya. May nalimutan ka papeles, gamit at mga materyales.
Nag-start ako in 1 unit, isang sasakyan. Tapos sinamahan ko na sipag at tiyaga. Kasama lahat ng problema. 4 months ako tumira sa sakyan. Hanggang ngayon, may hawak na po ako ng 12 units. Meaning, isa na po akong operator.
Ito nang pinakahihintay, magnegosyo saan ka secure ng future mo, ikay laging ligtas.
Sa loob po ng 3 taon, una po kinikita ko lang sa sinya sa 2,500 po. Ngayon po kumikita na po ako ng 15,000 pataas. A week po yon. Dati po, umaasa lang ako sa asawa ko na kung magkano lang ibigay. Ngayon po, kayang-kaya ko na pong tumayo sa sarili ko po. Yung 4 na anak ko po, yung 2 anak ko po, kaalis na po, pinagpaaral ko po sa National University, private po yun.
Saan ka secure ng future mo, ikay laging ligtas. Delivery na mabilis, lala mo grab food so fast. Gusto mo lang.
Our shop would not be able to reach what we have right now without those mentoring, coaching sessions, the techniques that they are giving to become an effective seller. So, from a regular seller, we're able to achieve the goals, and every time na may goals kami, na ma-max out namin our target.
Nagsikap po ako na magmaneho, mag-drive sa Grab. So maraming opportunities. Makasama mo yung pamilya, no? Ng mas mahabang oras. Yung sasakyan ko po ngayon, more than 3 years na po. Nakakuha po kami ng sasakyan at nakakuha din po kami ng bahay sa Cavite. Kumikita ka na hawak mo yung oras. Dati po yung sahod ko sa isang company ay 16,000 a month. Yung iba, sumusobra pa.
Convey the message of the President. He is happy that you have attended the summit, and he sees a very good future for this economy, especially under the leadership of Mr. Joey Concepcion.
I have made a commitment in the last 14 years, and next year will be the 15th year of Go Negosyo. My mission is to help every Filipino out there succeed in life. But in the end, no matter what we do, we can only do so much to guide, teach, and mentor you. But in the end, it is your will, the right mindset, that will propel you to success. And it has to be a teamwork. So again, you can bank on us that we will not stop till every Filipino out there has a chance to succeed in life. Thank you.
Congratulations! Clear na si Musa, clear!
Let us all welcome on stage the Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, founder of Go Negosyo, ladies and gentlemen, Chair of ASEAN Business Advisory Council, no other than Mr. Joey Concepcion.
Our efforts with this government, President Duterte, whose passion is to help the Filipino people move up in life, the private sector, together with DTI, DA, and DOT, are moving heaven and earth to really fulfill and help you fulfill your dream to become one of these successful entrepreneurs.
Ang government naman po, DTI, nandyan din ang DOST, Science and Technology. Pagdating mo sa mga product development, mga new R&D, discoveries, and mga research output ng DOST, pwede po ninyong gamitin. Kung ito po ay magpapabilis sa proseso ng inyong pag-weave or kahit anong produkto.
I felt really excited about being here. I thought the Philippines provided one very important aspect, which is it's a country that really gives you the ability to live with purpose, that whatever you do has an impact beyond just money.
Let's talk about legacy.
And a legacy to me is about
Secretary Mon Lopez and myself have been pursuing the vision of giving every struggling entrepreneur out there a chance to succeed.
Together with the alliance here of 30 chambers and organizations, we are committed to this vision.
I believe that by unity, cooperation, and hard work, we shall achieve our aspiration for our country and the good life that we always wish for the Filipinos. Let us work together to realize our hopes and dreams for our people and nation.
Kaya ba natin to? Kaya.
Good morning, mga negosyantes all out there. I'm your Go Negosyo mentor, Chalon Talk. I will be your moderator for today, and we want to welcome everyone here sa Go Negosyo Mentor Me online. Usually on wheels tayo, nasa mall, but because of our current situation, medyo naiiba ang ginagawa natin ngayon. This is a free Go Negosyo mentorship program to help and assist all aspiring and even existing entrepreneurs out there. Marami po tayong mga MSMEs or micro, small, medium enterprises that want to scale our business, want to know what to do, want to learn more. This is your platform. So, recap lang po, almost every day, ang Go Negosyo po ay namamahayag at nagbibigay ng tulong by giving knowledge and mentorship here sa kanilang Facebook, of course, and even on our apps, no? So recap lang, yesterday at 3 p.m., our topic was all about tax compliance for MSMEs with Tita Kaluya, Mr. Mon Abrea, of course, of Asian Consulting Group, and Miss Ginger Arboleda of Taxumo. So ngayon naman po, we will be talking about crisis management. We're all in a certain type of crisis right now. So I'm sure marami sa inyo ang gustong tumutok dito para matuto, para magamit ang kaalaman. At hindi basta-basta mga kasama natin ngayon. I will be introducing them in a bit. But first, I want to remind everyone po no, na nanonood dyan using their Facebook in the comforts of their home. Sana po home kasi lahat tayo po dapat naka-quarantine. We should all stay home and be safe. So might as well learn rin po. We want you guys na magtanong, okay? In other words, we want you guys to be asking questions. This is very interactive. I see a lot of people here watching from Mandaluyong. Hello, Angie, Jekyll, watching also Maria Monica Rosas from Quezon City. Ayan, so iba-ibang tao all the way from Paco Burgos, from Cebu, J.R. Lanto, Batangas City. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We know your time is precious and we will make sure that it will be all worth it. So, speaking about asking questions, hindi lang po shoutout. We want to invite you to ask your questions at para mamaya maitanong po natin yan. All you have to do po is tumutok sa Mentor Me online Facebook live streaming. This is very live po sa ating live stream sa Go Negosyo page. At magtanong sa ating mga Go Negosyo mentors sa comment section, which we're actually seeing happening live right now as well. Just comment, put your name, saan po kayo nakatira, or hindi naman buong address, saan po kayo, anong city po kayo galing, and yung specific na question nyo po. Kung may gusto kayong pagtanungan na directly to any of our mentors, pwede rin po, or if your question is for everyone, pwede rin po. So, sa mapipili nating mga questions na okay at magaganda, we will like and share sa aming Facebook live stream sa inyong mga Facebook accounts. Maaring manalo ng free book mula sa Go Negosyo. So all you have to do is mag-comment ng inyong mga mensahe at mga aral na natutunan ninyo. Make sure, say also, ano ba yung mga nagustuhan nyo sa ating mga Go Negosyo mentors. Maaari kayong magkaroon ng chance na ma-feature sa ating Go Negosyo comment of the day. Use the hashtag. Ito po ang hashtag po natin, hashtag MentorMeOnline and hashtag Free Negosyo Mentorship. That's what we're doing here. It's Free Negosyo Mentorship. So let's begin with our forum discussion. I'm sure marami sa inyong naghihintay. This will all be very helpful. Pati na rin po sa akin na isang negosyante. I am the CEO of Geron Travel. My name is Chalon Tok. Pati rin po negosyo namin. Apektado rin po. So I'm sure lahat po kayo na nandyan is willing at gustong matuto. So simulan na po natin. Ngayon, we will talk about crisis management for food and retail businesses. I'm sure marami pong sakop ang retail businesses at marami sa inyo apektado rin po. So ito na po ang ating mga mentors for today. Papakilala ko na rin po sila. Mga bigatin po. Kaya we're very thankful na they said yes to us and they have chosen to give their times to be able to share their knowledge. So let's begin. We have, of course, to start off with Mr. Bernie Liu, Chairman and CEO of Golden ABC. Siyempre, ang pinakamamahal nating brand, pen shop, di ba? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bernie. And also we have Ms. Cheryl Quintana, President of the Philippine Franchisee Association. Of course, kilala rin natin siya in the retail business pagdating sa Oray Spa. Good morning, Cheryl. ipapakilala ko rin ang ating third na mentor for today, no other than Mr. Ricky D, CEO of Foodie Global Concept. Siyempre, maraming brands na tayong alam pagdating sa pagkain. Ricky, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Okay, of course, we have an excellent panel, and a lot of people are watching. Hello, Cheryl. Thank you for joining in. We'll get into it right away. I will dig into it right away. As you can see, this is not our usual setup. All three of you, multi-awarded companies, brands, mentors, entrepreneurs, more especially. And look where we are now, confined inside our homes. Nakapasok tayo ngayon, and we're doing this very unusual setup, so thank you very much. Our topic today is about crisis management when it comes po sa food and retail business. So sisimulan ko na po. Maybe I'll begin with Bernie. March 15, March 16, of course, our quarantining life had begun. It was announced. First thing that we did with our business po. How was your reaction? Paano nyo po ito hinandle? At the first stage pa lang po, nung in-announce na we will be doing our semi-called lockdown. Bernie.
Well, good morning, everyone. Disclosure, this is not April Fool's Day, so whatever I can share is to the best of my knowledge. But anyway, March 15, when the announcement was made, I guess all of us, no one was exempted. We had to secure the status of our people first. Were they getting the news? Did they understand what this enhanced quarantine lockdown was all about? So that was the first order of the day. Of course, everything else followed: stores, operation, cash, and yeah. But we started our people because unless we can mobilize our team, we cannot make things happen.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for that, Bernie. I guess that's a very good message that your company started and began right away with people first and knowledge. So how about you naman, Ricky? Syempre, like Bernie, we thrive. The business that you guys are in thrive in malls. Syempre, di ba? The more, as they say, the merrier for our negosyantes out there. So how was it for you knowing that magsasara ang mga malls, mawawalan ng mga stores, syempre? What was the first reaction during this crisis, and how did you tackle it as an entrepreneur?
Good morning, mga kanegosyo. Well, we didn't expect it to be a lockdown, but we were preparing for the worst already because we saw that the social distancing was being implemented. So a week before the lockdown, we were already informing the top management on what to do, what to expect, the worst case scenario. And we already were planning for it, but not for a lockdown. So first we were concerned about the safety of the people, as well as the supply chain and the products. Okay. So after the lockdown, then we check our financial condition on how much we're going to give to the employees, and then to check on our processed products. By the way, we were able to give out almost 10,000 meals since the lockdown, and we're ending it today. We made sure that all our processed products, our food are kept well, and the people, of course.
First of all, thank you so much, Ricky, for all that help. Talagang during a crisis, everyone comes in and pulls in their resources, no? So from thinking about people, we're also still thinking about people and helping as well right away, despite the crisis. So maraming salamat, of course, to Foodie Global Concepts for that one.
We'd like to
Cheryl
thank
naman ang
also our
pupuntahan ko
own
ngayon.
frontliners. They came in. We sent out a message that who's willing to work. It was a volunteer work, but of course we compensated them. But it was volunteer work because they themselves were exposed to the hospitals while delivering their food. So we would like to take this opportunity to take them also.
That's very true. Totoo yan. Lahat tayo may frontliners one way or another. Of course, we're very thankful to all our doctors, to our maintenance people right now, especially wherever we live, 'di ba? Mga security guards, but even in our own businesses, kailangan pa rin tuloy-tuloy, and there are people there who are being there with us, whether yun nga tulong sa pagde-deliver ng pagkain or siguro sa production rin with Bernie, no? This time I will move on with Cheryl. Cheryl, you're representing actually two things here. One is, syempre, presidente ng Philippine Franchisee Association, but you also have your own negosyo, which is also a retail business na sikat at alam na rin natin ngayon na and well awarded na Orice Pass. So, let's talk about that.
Magandang umaga.
As soon as nagsimula yung announcement about this lockdown, first steps that you took also, not just as an entrepreneur, but as the president of the PFA.
Yes, PFA is Philippine Franchise Association, Charles. So it's actually a group of franchisors in the Philippines, not franchisee. But of course, all of us franchisors are supporting our franchisees. So the quarantine, which happened in March 15, March 16, well, for in Oraispa's case kasi, we have been doing skeletal crew a week before that already. And because I don't know, we're kind of anticipating already, no, na we have to protect also our people because cases are already being announced na. And then when there was a quarantine a day after the malls closed, which is actually quite a relief also for us because we know that they will be our frontliners, our sales frontliners are in danger. So with the rest of the franchise association, we have a lot of retailers, Chal. So we have different sectors in PFA. We have retail, we have service, and food, which is majority of our group. So first and foremost, of course, all of the entrepreneurs are know that that first things first is survival. No, so it cannot be, and survival is not just physically, but of course, how are we going to survive this in terms of our business operations? So, yun nga sinasabi ko no, when rallying your people also to or calm them down, parang I'm telling them this is like to get an urgency on the matter is try to think of it like a wartime economy. So you act as an entrepreneur like in a wartime economy, meaning you have meager resources. How do you spend it? How do you go about it? Yeah, I actually prepared to share a crisis management plan that we are implementing at the moment and might probably be of help to other MSMEs. I don't know if I'm sharing it now or maybe later.
Sige, that would be very helpful. We can tackle that right now, Ms. Cheryl. Sige, pwede natin pag-usapan
Okay,
ngayon.
so can I ask our tech to post it? So what we did actually is that because we have like parang three phase in terms of acting upon the crisis, no? So first is that survival. So when the quarantine was announced, so we had to same day we had to announce it to everyone, to our team for Oraispa team, and then we advanced already the salary. So we processed it already for the two payouts already because there will be problems in releasing it later kasi we don't know how banks are going to cope right after the quarantine. So just to make sure. So what we did was or what we're doing right now is to come up with a COVID-19 crisis management plan. So we termed it CMP. So this is like a 10-point guideline. I'm sharing this because this might be of help to other MSMEs, especially that are currently on the retail or manufacturing. This is applicable. So first and foremost is that entrepreneurs should not think of paano na negosyo ko, paano ako magbubukas, wala akong kita. Of course, that is very valid, no? Pero number one in the priority is the health and safety of your people. And sinasabi ko nga, Chale, the actions that you are doing now as a leader of your companies will actually reflect on you after all of this happens, because we know these too shall pass, right? We just don't know when. But of course, after nito, your team will be depending on you. So you have to protect them as you protect yourself. So what we did was to have reporting like on a daily basis. So we ask our HR personnel to kamustahin yung mga tao namin every day, papaano sila nakakakuha ng groceries, etc. You know, simple things like that. But our Mancom is reporting every day online. So work from home has been ideal setting. So we also had the staff efficiency. So this actually we want to implement to after April 14, which is the end of the quarantine, no, as of the moment. But this is also applicable for those who are still open. Kasi kami is 100% closed. Our retail stores are all closed, as well as our production. Kasi child manufacturing din kami eh. So we close it even, yes,
Yes. Oh.
yes, even if meron kaming mga essentials like sanitizers, soaps, and washes, but ang decision ng management is to close it to observe the quarantine for the production. So for the staff efficiency, I think by after April 14 we will have the restructuring of the organization. So this we have to revisit again what is our mission objectives for everyone, no, even your from top to bottom. So meaning even your people from the janitorial services ng company mo should understand why you are doing it. What is your mission to survive the company? So nakalagay diyan merong output oriented. So you probably would be multitasking your people kasi a lot of our MSMEs now face that meron ka kasing mga regular employees, and then you also have contractual, and you also have trainees. So some are katulad sa amin, ang dami ng trainees nung nag-quarantine. Anong gagawin namin sa kanila, 'di ba? So and who will be taking over kung wala sila. So also the skeletal force should have a time management, no? But so I'll just run down para we can discuss it later naman. And then also in terms of cash flow, you have to allocate your resources. Kaya alam mo, lang nangyari, on the week before the quarantine, we had all the inventories physically of what we have, and we also had an inventory sort of from the Mancom. What are our strengths and weaknesses as a team? Kasi doon mo malalaman in times of crisis na ganito, what are the strengths na meron ka at ano yung wala ka. So with the resource allocation, I advise that for MSMEs who have a lot of SKUs, that might not be possible to offer after this. So what we did was to concentrate on few products. So right now we are parang have a short list. Ano lang yung mga pwede nating i-offer, and how can we shift to some of the products that are more needed, more basic, and more fast-moving on our end. So in terms of cash flow naman, a lot of people now are discussing, di ba, syempre may announcement si Department of Labor and Employment with the 5,000 releases. So kanino magagaling? Sino maglalabas niyan, no? Syempre nagrereklamo na talaga mga MSMEs, kami pa rin ba maglalabas niyan? But dito nga pumapasok yung how prepared are you financially to support your team. So, ang sinasabi nga natin, ang aking stand kasi, since hindi naman kami katulad sa food, kailangan mong mag-open, kailangan mong mag-service, or for really a very essential necessity, so you can close for a month. But for those who are still open, and for those who are preparing to open after April 14, you have to make sure that you have a reasonable profit margin para yung company mag-survive. Kasi hindi naman natin pwedeng suportahan ng mga tao natin for ilang months, 'di ba? Some are advising na 3 months daw pwede i-support, pero hindi lahat ng MSMEs are ready for that. 'Di ba? Hindi lahat kayang magpasweldo ng or no work paid na no work, no, for 3 months. So what we intend to do is to make reasonable profit para naman kumita yung business para pang sweldo sa mga empleyado natin. So also this is 'di ba, child, meron tayo yung mga months ago, meron tayong yung mga postings sa social media about collaborations. Ngayon siya talaga kailangan that we need to collaborate with other companies para makasurvive tayo, no? And I'm sure a lot of big brother companies are also willing to help the MSMEs collaborate in this purpose. So, number 6 is maximize government subsidy. So, yun nga, tinatanong natin, papaano ba natin maa-avail yung mga subsidies? Marami naman ng ayuda ang binigay din ang government, especially through Department of Trade and Industry. So, they've also negotiated with or advise the mall operators, and we're thankful with that. So, pero yun nga, kailangan nating liwanagin kung papaano yon. And then, we have to retrain our staff on crisis management. Ito yung nakikita ko din na kahit hindi sa negosyo, no, kahit siguro the way we handle our people on the ground, especially frontliners, 'di ba parang sa giyera sinasabak na lang yung iba without enough training. So on the business side naman, you have to realize that tayo, hindi natin alam kung, hindi natin experience to before, ganun din yung team members natin or mga employees natin. So we have to retrain them to face or to manage the crisis. So other agenda for the crisis management plan is to have new marketing strategies, so that would determine your operations at saka paano mo i-allocate yung staff mo. Because now there are projections na marami ang mawawalan ng trabaho. Syempre, mag-i-streamline ng mga companies because you have to operate on a lean organization. So, kailangan mong mag-set also papaano mo ngayon ima-market, no? Yung mga products na na-identify mo na magfo-focus ka. And then, maraming MSMEs, Chal, ang nakakalimot on documenting this. No, while you are doing this, you have to document so that alam ng bawat isa kung saan kayo papunta. Yung sabay-sabay kayong pupunta doon sa goal na yon. And being in the franchising industry, Chal, this is what I appreciated. When we launched our franchising company, we already have some documentations of our operations. So, hindi nahirapan na mag-collate kung paano nagbubukas ang tindahan, anong ginagawa sa maghapon, yung operations mo. So, while you are doing this crisis management plan and implementing it, you have to formulate written procedures of new COVID systems. Parang yun yung term namin. Ano yung mga systems na i-implement sa company, and you have to document it. And lastly, is to have regular reporting of updated news, COVID news to your staff para hindi sila transparency yung dito yung key, that everyone knows what's happening. So, yun lang, yun yung namin, yun yung strategy na ginagawa namin to come up with the crisis management plan. I hope some of our MSMEs will be applicable sa kanila, or pwede naman silang mag-cut and paste dyan. So, yun. Yung isang parang diagram or model, so ayan, nakikita nyo on screen, is actually, you can, in the documentation process of your written procedures, what you can do is to have parang table. Simple lang yan, Chal. Kayang-kayang gawin ng everybody yan in Word or in Excel, no? So, kahit handwritten, pwede din. So, you have to set columns with your activities. Halimbawa, delivery of goods. Ano yung action na gagawin? Sino yung in charge doon? Ano yung mga problems na na-encounter? Let's say, for the checkpoint, hindi ka pinalampas. hindi in-honor yung iyong presentation of your memorandum circular kasi ang DTI has a memorandum circular of MC 2008 which is actually the free flow of cargoes, 'di ba, na essentials. And then the last column will be ano ang mitigating measures mo. So you have to be prepared kasi pag pinaalis mo yung mga tao mo tapos naharang, anong gagawin nila? So, yun lang. I hope it will be of help to others.
Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing this. The reason that, and of course to Ricky and Bernie, thank you for your patience. But this is so important. The reason I didn't even interrupt at all is because we see the importance of this. You know, a lot of our mentors na nakakasama natin dito sa Go Negosyo, syempre personal experience, but you shared with us in detail, step-by-step things, especially para sa mga micro and small entrepreneurs na hanggang sa ngayon, medyo nawawala, nalilito, nagkaka-anxiety pa. As a matter of fact, I'm seeing messages from the public na kung pwede daw one thing that they can do of course is mag-rewind sila ng konti, they can get a shot, they can try to imitate it, but best of all, also personalize it syempre para sa kanilang mga negosyo.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you so much, Sharon. Ako, I can see how full this discussion will be very helpful to everyone. To everyone who's here, of course, Bernie, Ricky, Cheryl, if there's one thing that we know now about this whole crisis that's going on is that no one is immune. Diba? As much as we want to be all-knowing, as much as we want to be out of it, no one is really immune kung ano man ang negosyo natin, diba? But for food and retail and all your mga franchisors, may tinatawag sila ngayong quarantine, call it. So let's all be truthful here, hopefully, so that our they would know that we are all in the same page nga, diba? Because no one is immune. What were the challenges that you guys went through? If you don't mind me asking, I'll start with Bernie, but Bernie, before you answer that, isa kang rockstar entrepreneur, Bernie. Lahat ng mga tao sa ating chat group nangangamusta sa iyo, Bernie, and showing their love for you. If you go through one by one, all from different parts of Philippines, from Ilocos, from iba-iba puro si Rico Fort Pacho, go GABC. #1GABC. Nako, they feel the love talaga, Bernie. In other words, leadership talaga to all throughout. Good morning sa inyong lahat na nakikinig. Salamat po sa inyong mga messages. Ito na po ang inyong rockstar entrepreneur, Bernie. Challenges that you guys went through.
Well, I guess, thank you. I guess many of our people are working from home, so they're connected. And that was one of the first few things that we did. But as you said, child, no one's exempted from this crisis. And I just like to perhaps thank you, Cheryl, for that very elaborate platform or pointers. But basically, in a crisis, we had to organize an emergency response team. But one thing I've learned in a crisis is that number one, 4 steps lang sa akin. This is short, but basically we have to communicate clearly to our people on what is happening. Number 2, leaders has to be authentic. We have to be honest. We have to tell the truth, no matter how painful it may sound. Number 3, we have to have a plan. And I think to each business, we have different plans, we have different scenarios. And lastly, we have to tell our people what they have to do with regards to our plan. Of course, the hardest thing that we had to manage, Chal, was we have over 1,000 stores. So we have over 6,000 employees nationwide. So it's being able to get the message across. All right, it was getting the message across, putting everyone in the same page, trying to figure out what to do next. And as we said, this is unprecedented. So this has never happened in our economy or in the world for the longest time. So it's really mobilizing people, trying to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Bernie, for sharing that. No, I just wanted to point out something. You mentioned over 1,000 stores or almost 1,000 stores. With this kind of number, of course, the success came with it. Syempre, that's why nga isa ka sa mga highly regarded na mentors natin sa Go Negosyo. But during a time of crisis, doble-doble rin ang communication, ang pamamaraan para ayusin ang lahat ng bagay. So, the challenge, of course, there is not just communication, but you actually have actual closed stores. Kasi nga, syempre, damit ang pinag-uusapan natin, ang sikat na sikat na brand na pen shop. How are you dealing with this challenge right now?
Well, for one, child, all our stores are closed, are temporarily closed. It started with the lockdown in Manila and Luzon. Eventually, it extended to the other LGUs. And I think on the third week of March, we decided to just temporarily close our stores to help people to stay home. So right now, and for the past, I think 2 weeks, all our stores are temporarily closed. So like any crisis, just like any situation that we are facing right now, cash is the most important. And I think all our entrepreneurs that are listening can relate to this. And in times like this, cash is king. And allow me to share an article that I shared with our team that in a crisis like cash flow is concerned, there are actually 3 stages. The first stage is what we call the panic mode. And I think we are in that stage right now. It's just been very recent, the past 2-3 weeks, that cash is going to be impacted. And I believe that's going to go on for a bit, a while. But in order to manage forward, we have to realize that after this panic mode, there is the stabilization mode. That will probably come on Q3. Then hopefully towards the last quarter, that's when we see, or the earliest last quarter, that's when we see perhaps the recovery mode. So the number one, I think, crisis for many entrepreneurs right now is the liquidity, cash. So you have to be able to break it down into 3 different stages. For one, to be able to have a clearer solution of how you're going to survive the panic stage. How are you going to manage the stabilization stage? That's when perhaps in my case, store starts to open. How do you deploy resources? How do you now balance manpower and the other expenses that comes with store resumption? And once that is normalized, then we start talking about recovery. Well, some are saying that recovery is going to happen the last quarter of the year. Some are saying next year. Iba-iba. Different companies will have to face different stages in this crisis.
Thank you for that, Bernie. You know, when you said cash is king, that's very real right now. So para sa mga negosyantes natin dyan, small, micro, ganito ka-importante kung bakit tayo nagtabi para sa negosyo natin. Para pagdating sa mga oras na ganito na crisis, para magamit. And I just want to point out something, no? People might think yung mga nanonood dito na, madali lang magsara. Kasi cash is king nga. Marami ng deep pockets, kumbaga, maraming entrepreneurs na ito. But we also have to realize na for every entrepreneur, it is a bitter pill. You know, we're like taking a bitter pill to say na, okay, we have to close. We have to close our businesses to go along with this crisis. And it takes real courage to do that. Some people are still struggling and still finding ways. Paano ba ako kikita ngayon? I'm guessing now is not the time, di ba? So, thank you for sharing that, Bernie. Oh, from one bitter pill to another. Ricky, with all the brands of your restaurants inside malls, syempre, ikaw apektado ka. At what stage are you in right now? Are you guys doing some flexibilities of deliveries? Meron na ba kayong mga iniisip paano nyo itutuloy ito during a time of crisis?
Before the lockdown, as I was saying earlier on, we were trying to reinvent our business model. But after the lockdown, there comes another reinvention. This is the real thing now. So I guess the mindset of us businessmen has to change. This is times like this we have to test our psychological resiliency. Short of saying, I don't want to be pessimistic, but the sales that we had before is not going to come in the near future. So we have to set our mind in such a way that we will program it to be like that in the next coming months. As Bernie is saying, it might be the last quarter of this year. In some cases, maybe next year. So we're now planning for that. First, our concern would be the safety and the safety of the employees. We have to offer more and better products to our consumers. Third would be you have to re-engineer the whole company. Skeletal force, yes. 3-day work week, 4-day work week, so that every one of the employees benefits rather than firing them. So we do a skeletal force instead. 3-day, 4-day work week. Reinvention of your product line to better suit the needs of today. Reformat your business model now. If I were to take countries that got over from the crisis, China, Singapore, and Hong Kong, after that crisis, they're still following the social distancing mode. So restaurants are now only allowed to use 1/3 of their dining area. From one customers to another customers, they have different sets guideline. In Hong Kong, it's 1.2 meters. In Singapore, it's 1.5 meter. So if you have a capacity of 200 in your restaurant, today, your capacity would now only be 70 because that's what social distancing is required. With that, I don't think restaurants would survive. Before this crisis, you see restaurants with long lines. I don't expect that anymore. So the key, I guess, would be to reformat the business model. Delivery will come in, pick up points, but with that, you also have to redevelop the product that would suit delivery and pick up as well. So what worked for us yesterday will not work for us tomorrow. So it's a tough job, but we have to face it.
Ricky, I couldn't agree more. You know, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, ang aking asawa din is in the food business. So over 60 restaurants din sila. Being beside him every day, kasi nga lockdown tayo, no choice. Nakikita ko yung stress, you know, that you really have to reinvent. Kumbaga for Cheryl, for Bernie, and for Ricky, parang do you feel like bumabalik na naman tayo sa simula?
As I was saying, it's a reset.
You're a first-time entrepreneur. Parang back to not naman
almost back to zero.
Pero beginning again, parang start up ulit. You have to,
what worked for you yesterday won't work for you.
Pero yun nga, Chale,
yes, go ahead, Cherry.
Marami kasi pinanghihinaan ng loob. Thank you sa mga co-speakers ko for indulging earlier. Medyo mahaba yung sharing. But then, it was really, maraming mga MSMEs ang nanghihina ng loob. Pero parang nga, baka back to zero. Pero after this kasi, the entrepreneurial skills na natutunan natin, yung mga uma-attend ng Kmme ng mahabang panahon, mga nag-graduate, hindi naman mawawala yun eh. So, you are well equipped to start all over again kung yun yung mangyayari afterwards. Diba? The skills that you have as an entrepreneur, nandun yun.
That's good to point out that actually that's one of the biggest difference from going natin yung mga startup is yung mga knowledge na dati na nating natutunan.
Yes.
Okay. This time around, I'll be discussing, kanina nga nabanggit ko, Medyo unique yung word na ito. Quarantine economy. Whether you take it as a joke or what, no, the terminology has been popping up saying na, in other words, ang ibig sabihin lang is nagbabago na ang pagnenegosyo. I'm gonna jump into some questions na nakita ko na kanina since, by the way, to all our viewers out there, all three of these amazing entrepreneurs that we have here, they have always been very sharing with their knowledge. Hindi lang po ngayon, even dati pa po sa Mentor Me on Wheels, pagdating sa mga malls. So, I will jump straight to some of the questions na if you don't mind, no? May nakita ako kasing tanong, paano naman daw yung mga micro and small entrepreneurs na hindi ganun ka-deep or hindi ganun ka, you know, their pockets aren't that deep. Hindi nila naplano or kung naplano man nila ito, hindi sa ganitong sitwasyon na 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, we don't know. What can they do with their businesses? If cash is king and cash is low, what are the realities that they have to face and what can they
Actually,
do?
Chal,
Anyone please
nakakatuwa.
take over.
Pagka minsan no, makikita natin yung ibang mga micro and small entrepreneurs, halimbawa, nag-operate ng maliit na restaurant or operating just a couple of restaurants, they were able to to adapt quickly by offering meals for delivery sa kanilang area, sa kanilang communities. So, syempre, lahat ay nakafocus yung attention paano magsusurvive ang micro and small. But you know what? When we are discussing with colleagues, kaya napaka-importante nung gantong platform, Chale, itong ginagawa nating Mentor Me Online, which we're doing every day, no, from Go Negosyo. Kasi we learn also from one another. Ito pala yung ginagawa niya, so baka pwede sa akin. And ang napapansin nga namin, mas maraming medium ang affected right now. Those who have established resources, dahil kailangan mo talagang magsara and you cannot, you cannot go back to, or a lot find it hard to have micro operations right now. Hindi katulad ng mga micro entrepreneurs, halimbawa nagrara ng karinderya or ng cafeteria, pwede nilang i-shift sa bahay yung paggagawa ng mga ng mga offerings na yon. So I think hindi lang parang sa tingin ko na mas malaki ang effect doon sa small and medium enterprises kasi in terms of adaptability sa resources mo na meron.
Okay, thank you. So now is really the time to innovate.
Yes.
This
I'm going to wear
how
two
we all
hats
get
today.
creative pag crunch time
I'm
na,
a
diba? Na
restaurant
napupush
operator at the
talaga.
same time we're mall operators. My biggest concern now is also our tenants, the small industries, which are the Changi, the kiosks. Our malls are basically 25% in that industry. Our tenants are in that industry. So we definitely would have them out on the rental scheme. We would allow them to change their concept on what suits the demand at the moment. But then again, not everyone will survive. That's our biggest concern at the moment. They have to change, reevaluate the business that they have, check their cash position if it would suit the business that they have. But of course, in every crisis, as I was saying, there's opportunity. They might just have to change the product that they carry or the services.
That's a very good point also na dapat handa ka na rin mag-shift kung
Yes.
kinakailangan.
Yeah,
Kasi nga unusual times eh. So I'm gonna go straight to Bernie right now. I'm seeing a lot, some questions also directed for him, no? Let's be honest. So our topic here is retail, but when we're talking about clothes, ito kinaklasify nila kasi ang essential businesses at non-essential na tinatawag nila. Although in truth, ang pananamit, kasama yan sa mga basic needs ng tao, which is kailangan yan, di ba? Food, shelter, clothing. Pero right now, fashion seems to be taking a step back, no? So, how will you survive? Kasi tanong dito ng isang tao is yung negosyo niya is ukay business, Sir Bernie. So, nagbenta siya ng damit, pero ukay-ukay business. So, paano siya mag-survive knowing na may stigma? Any advice?
At this point in time, Ricky mentioned it earlier, but this is really a global call for a reset. All businesses, and not just businesses, not just entrepreneurs, but all human activities. This is really a global reset. And when we talk about global reset, it's really changing people's lives. The way people will behave post COVID-19 crisis is going to really change. And it's a call for businesses to go back to basics. With regards to cash, well, again, when you talk about what cash you have to look at the entire value chain. It's not just your company's cash. This is when you really have to engage your employees, your suppliers, your vendors, your customers, and look at the entire value chain. It's not just about your particular cash position as a company, but really everyone in the entire value chain. And it's really a call to basics. So looking forward, well, we are all coping with this crisis, and it's going to be protracted. It's going to be long. The malls may open mid-April. The malls may open end of April. It may open on May. One thing for certain, the people's behavior is going to change. It's not going to be business as usual. So that call to innovate, that call to really reformat your business it's really a reality. In my case, I cannot say at this point of time if all our 1,000 stores are going to remain open. It will now depend on how the consumer and how the people will behave. With regards to the ukay-ukay, well, unfortunately, there is that stigma, and that I cannot change because people are doing social distancing. Lalo na, I do not want to buy somebody else's used clothing because baka that came from somebody who is now positive or who was positive, and so on and so forth. That's a stigma, and that I do not have the answer to that. But one thing for certain, you cannot live in a society or in the mindset of denial. We have to go beyond denial, anger, acceptance. You have to accept the new norm. And this is where I think the entrepreneurial spirit of the individual comes in. What was the reason why you went into business? What was your unique offering to the market? And that's a time to really revisit. Chal, if you look at history of mankind, and even the most recent, during the 9/11, it changed people's behavior altogether. Gone were the days when you could just walk into the airport terminal 15 minutes before your flight. That practically changed our concept of security, right? So, and that was just isolated in a certain part of the world. This is global. So I do not have the answers of how people will be behaving beyond this crisis. But one thing for certain, while we are looking at our current challenges, we should not stop looking at what is going to be the activities after this crisis. We cannot get paralyzed by looking at this, okay, what's going to be the next month or 2 or 3 months. You have to start looking at what's beyond this period. And to Ricky's point, you have to reformat. Not all businesses will survive. You have to change your product. You have to innovate. You probably have to look at your cost structure and so on and so forth. So again, this is unprecedented. I don't think any businessman in existence right now can have a book and tell, oh, this is what happened, this is what we should do, this is what we did. We are all back to square one. We are all in equal footing once again. And this is now the opportunity for a lot of small and medium entrepreneurs who may not have the kind of baggage. You can be the next Taiwan because this is going to reset everyone. And this is, I think, where the strong and the more forward-looking will have the opportunity.
And everyone is agreeing, Sir Bernie, sa ating chat group, of course. Yung sinasabi niyong denial, na rebirth, nalampasin natin yon, na rebirth. Tingnan nyo na lang po yung ginagawa po namin ngayon sa Go Negosyo, yung innovation. Kung sate ang ating mga events ay laging nasa malls, ngayon po As you can see, kanya-kanya mga bahay. This is one time in my whole career that I'm hosting moderation, then is kailangan nandoon. O kung gasgas na move tungkol sa wage, yung Chinese word for crisis, di ba nga, is may kasamang crisis but also opportunity. So we'll move on with the word opportunity. What opportunities can we see for entrepreneurs or even for yourself, no? And I will make it extra hard because I have rockstar entrepreneurs here. Opportunities for retail na non-essential. Kasi syempre kung grocery ka, patok kang ngayon. Pero maraming negosyante dyan ang hindi yun ang binibenta. So ano yung mga opportunities na pwede nating i-share sa kanila or opportunities that you and your company is trying to find or siguro yung mga franchise mga ka-association ni Miss Cheryl, ano po yung nakikita niyo mga bagong development, new opportunities for retail specifically for non-essentials?
Well, we are actually sharing parang best practices later in a forum kasi syempre ang yung sinasabi kanina ni Bernie was which I agree that your survival is not just the survival of the entrepreneur but the survival ng buong organization mo kasi kaya ko nabanggit na malaki talaga ang problema sa medium enterprises for the MSMEs kasi meron kang human resources na kailangan mong i-protect and make sure na buhay din sila no after this. And I think we all agree that we have to have a concerted effort yung sama-samang paggalaw para ma-jumpstart yung economy. You were discussing or asking earlier, ano kaya yung mga pwedeng opportunities? Katulad ngayon, Chal, ang nangyayari, may mga lockdown ng mga municipalities and down to the barangay level. Halimbawa dito sa area namin, pwede ka lang mag-grocery doon sa mga tindahan na nandito sa loob ng barangay kasi they are providing barangay passes and then meron yung time limits no kung kailan ka pupunta. And what I noticed nga, maraming shelves ang walang laman. In fact, merong isa na nagsara for 2 days siguro dahil walang deliveries. In that case, yun yung opportunity nga na we can actually source locally or we can patronize our local manufacturers in the area. Kasi before the crisis, bago ka makapasok sa isang supermarket o sa isang convenience store chain, napakahirap ng mga requirements, syempre, no, for quality, etc. But then now, you are left with local manufacturers that can only serve in their particular municipalities or pwedeng lumampas sa checkpoint in their particular probinsya. So I think this is an opportunity for homegrown Filipino brands to level up no in terms of quality, ano yung pwede nilang i-offer, and for the consumers also to patronize what is available locally, yung mga nagdi-deliver ng mga gawa nilang produkto locally. So I think that's one of opportunity, taking
the message for
a look
local.
at matagal naman programa na ng government yan yung Buy Pinoy. Pero yun nga, in these times of crisis, we can really experience na oo nga dapat nga meron talaga tayong patronage at talagang buhayin yung industries ng local manufacturing. And I think sabi nga ng dalawa kong kasama si Mr. Ricky and Mr. Bernie, mahaba ito para itong protracted strategy on coping. Pero we all have that moral obligation, 'di ba, as an entrepreneur talaga to jumpstart yung gumawa ka ng activity after paano ko bubuhay ng organization ko to have contribution para sa economy than just waiting. Kasi, Chal, maraming MSMEs yung ano ang pwedeng itulong sa akin ng government, ano ang pwedeng subsidy, pwede ba akong hindi magbayad ng tax. So, of course, we have a lot of parang clamor, no, o hinihiling. Pero this is also the time to ask, what can we offer din naman in return if we find naman ourselves na a little bit in the capacity or empowered to pay forward to the economy.
Well, in our case, Charles,
Thank you so much, Sharon.
in our
Yes,
case, we've set it now. If the new norm would be social distancing, we really have to reinvent the wheel. This we really need to reinvent the wheel. The malls, how can you do social distancing in the mall? In the airline industry, in the buses, the public utility, the MRT. So this would be the new groundworks for upcoming entrepreneurs. If you can reinvent it in such a way that it would suit the need of the new consumer, then you'd be a winner. So as I was saying, if you take into consideration social distancing as a new norm, it totally changes the business environment, the business model of each business units. So it's really hard to accept it, but we really have to accept it. Like when Bernie was saying the 9/11 crisis, it's harder now to go into the airport 30 minutes before your flight. So now it's even hard flying because you're basically side by side. So with social distancing, that industry would be affected. In our local scenario, our employees, if you implement social distancing, we've seen the lines of MRT before this crisis. Wow, what would happen next if you implement social distancing in an MRT, in jeepneys, and in buses? It's beyond imagination at the moment.
Yeah.
So the opportunity would be whoever can reinvent the new wheel for the mode of transportation wins.
Ricky, you pointed out something very important, no, in terms of opportunity is lahat tayo nasa equal
Playing
level
field.
playing
Equal playing field now.
Yeah.
This is the new
So,
ano,
kumbaga,
new opportunity for new entrepreneurs.
kung sino ang mag-push, yun yung lalabas na winner. Pero
Like,
ngayon, hindi
now
naman
we have a
total
lot of
distraction, total stay at home.
mass
Kung sino makapag-isip,
manufacturers, different modes of mass, designer mass, then a lot of refilling alcohol station. Instead of water refilling, you have alcohol refilling stations now. So there's a new opportunity as well.
okay. So we're very clear on that. Social distancing could really be the new norm, or it's really the new norm right now. We'll head on first to greet. Ano pa yan, ha? Lalaki pa yan. Siyempre, thousands pa later on yung mga hahabol pagkatapos kumain ng lunch. So I just wanna greet everyone. Maraming salamat po sa pagkinig ninyo, sa pagsama po nyo sa amin. We will try to see how many more we could answer and enlighten you guys with more from our mentors. So, Sir Bernie, opportunities po na nakikita natin for name na rin po ang hawak ninyong pen shop. So, what opportunities do we see right now for the future in terms of retail po?
Well, child, there's a time for everything. And I think 2020, I think we can all agree that we cannot wait for this year to be over. We're barely on the first day of the second quarter, but nonetheless, there's a time for everything. And I think for a lot of opportunity, for a lot of entrepreneurs, the past few years have been good to us. So perhaps we have been blessed, and perhaps there were a lot of startups that have flourished. But then again, please remember that different countries are also working on a vaccine for COVID-19. And once this vaccine is going to be in commercial production, the social distancing that we know of today is also going to change. There is social distancing now simply because there is no vaccine yet. But once that vaccine is now commercially available for all of mankind, not to say that it's going to be back to how things were, but again, this will play out in different ways. So opportunities, Chal, will come in different stages. Now there's an opportunity to really do the greater good. For those who can afford it, now is not the time to be worrying about our earnings. Now is the time to help other people, those who we can help, our community, our workers, especially the most impacted of society. But nonetheless, as entrepreneurs, we also have to keep a close watch on what is really happening in people's behavior. So for the essentials, I think food will always be there. Home cooked meal, I think it will reach a time that people would like to eat in the restaurants of Ricky again. They've had enough of home cooked meals. At some point, that will change. People will be tired of wearing their pajamas the whole day at home. So people would love to again treat themselves when work continues again. So no, it's not gloom all the time, Chal. I think we will just have to ride out this panic stage. But at some point, people would like to treat themselves again, get a good massage, go to a wonderful spa. People would like to again travel again. Perhaps things were gonna be in a different manner, but I'd like to believe that humanity will bounce back, but we just have to go through this very, very difficult period. So opportunities will escalate for those who are very keen on observing and who are very quick and very agile into adapting new technology. There's a joke that went around, and I'm sure many of you have seen this, who was responsible for the digital transformation of most companies. Is it the CEO? Is it the CIO? Is it the CTO? Or was it COVID? So I think many companies now had to embrace digital transformation, and these are opportunities. So I'm just citing some of the few examples of how people and
Yes.
companies and entrepreneurs can take advantage of the current situation and look at really every single opportunity, whether you're a manufacturer, you're a retailer, what products you carry. Look at people's behavior now, and that will help you look for those opportunities.
Yes. I
We're
totally
getting
agree.
ready. Mukhang may nakoy na kong word for you. Oo. Nakalagay dito.
I agree with the silver lining na sinasabi ni Bernie. Yeah, I think Chal got lost. But yeah, totoo naman talaga 'yon, no? That this is also parang an opportunity for us to reflect as entrepreneurs that there is a blessing in disguise in all of this crisis that we are experiencing right now. And of course, like what Ricky said nga, we really have to evolve, no, after this.
Yeah, we lost our moderator.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if we're on pa.
I think we are. I think we
Yes.
are.
Okay. So maybe we can maybe we can continue discussing. But I totally agree with that. yung sinasabi nga ni Ricky kanina is really, it's an opportunity for all of us to evolve at this moment. And like all crisis, di ba, sasabihin, it's the survival of the fittest. And you will only be judged by how resilient you are as a company and how responsive you are. There was a, hi Chal. So we're actually I'd like to share something that I've learned in some fora internationally that I've attended. It's in uh, I think in Singapore, the Thames School, and they were discussing that the supply chain will no longer be the same like used to be before. That the traditional supply chain will be based on cost, quality, and delivery. But then the future would be the supply chain of the future would be how resilient you are and gaano ka kabilis mag-respond do sa kailangan ng market mo or ng customer mo and the reconfigurability. Yung binabanggit nga ni Ricky kanina, no? Dati, puro mga water refilling stations. Ngayon, merong mga alcohol refilling stations. So, gaano ka kabilis na mag-adapt? Kasi yun nga hindi naman ibig sabihin that we're on equal footing. So parang yung sa mga micro and small and medium enterprises mag-aantay tayo how things will go. Kaya nga isang araw magandang opportunity na gamitin ngayon is to really plan ahead while you're acting. So kung close ka naman lahat, you have all the time to plan ano ang gagawin ko sa susunod, how do you manage your existence. And also connect with your customers, child, 'di ba? May mga nagtatanong how do you connect with your customers? That's the beauty now because there's social media. So meron ka pa ring platform to connect to your customers that stay put lang tayo, stay home, but we will be back in business after this.
So in terms of, thank you for that, Cheryl. In terms of retail, no, I just want to point out some things because everyone is sending the same message here. Cheryl, you mentioned earlier collaboration,
Yes.
innovation for Ricky and Bernie, no? I think it's the right time that I point out an example because I see some questions here. How do you innovate, so on and so forth. So ito isang example I want to share with all of you. So this is your typical na binebenta na mask
Scuba
for swimming, no?
diving.
For swimming, di ba? For snorkeling. Right
Mm.
now, it may sound like a crazy idea. Ang ginawa nila is that they partnered with 3M, which is a known company, of course. Pinalitan dito sa taas, nilagyan ng filter. Now, nurses in Italy and doctors in Italy and
Right.
even some people in Singapore are already using this as their mask. So, isa lang yan sa mga example of collaboration, innovation, thinking out of the box. Is there
Yes.
anything such as a crazy idea now, Ricky? Parang dati, oy, crazy yan, di yan pwede mangyari. But
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
situation is crazy now. So, for the food and restaurant business, what are the innovations that you guys are planning sa foodie concepts to be having or that you are seeing trending right now or happening?
In the very near future, once we open, I think we will be focusing more on takeout and delivery. So with that comes the redevelopment of our product that would best suit for delivery and pickup. The innovative packaging material and the way we serve it. In China, they even take the temperature of the person delivering before he leaves the store, and the moment he gets to the delivery point, he takes the temperature again to assure the public that the person delivering is not carrying any virus or disease. So
Yes.
robotics coming in as well. In most of the hotels that I've seen, robots now deliver the toothpaste, toothbrush, even the towels. I think a few hotels that I've talked with today that cannot close down because they have long staying guests are asked to pick up their amenities at a certain area. There's no housekeeping available at the moment. They cannot kick them out because they're long staying guests and they work in the export processing zone. So these are the things that I've seen developing at the moment. That for me, when I was talking with my other group of friends, I said, "Is it safe to have your food delivered?" So suddenly, it comes to my mind that how do I assure the public that the food delivery boy or the third party delivery is in good shape, holding on to my food. So that temperature testing and a new set of guidelines, signing of the temperature, taking it before and after, would now be the new norm.
Yes.
That's very practical. Thank you for sharing that. Marami tayong mga negosyantes that are in the food business listening in. So even thinking about your third party now counts.
Exactly. In fact, I think it should be the new regulation as well to bring back the confidence of the people staying at home who wants their food to be delivered. It's like before you enter a mall, they take your temperature to make sure you're not sick. So this time, even the food, we should apply that, I guess.
Thank you
That's
for
good.
sharing that, no? Yes, go, Cheryl.
Yeah, that's beautiful pagka ang mga companies have that capacity, especially for food, to assure the customers. I also noticed dun sa mga food franchises naman namin sa PFA, there are those who are used to be offering hot meals. But then there are concerns kasi syempre, and they, of course, yun nga, for the technology to come in, katulad ng sinasuggest ni Ricky, if some have absence of that support, nag-o-offer naman sila ng frozen food so that the homeowners,
Mhm.
the household can cook for themselves. Kasi 'di ba ngayon marami nagtatanong, safe bang bumili ng hot meals para i-deliver or ng cakes ganyan. So I think some of the food companies, food franchises are selling naman the frozen food tapos sila na magluluto sa bahay.
So, ang rami na nangyari. Actually, even in this economy, nakikita ko, from being mall-based, another thing that's happening, notice where you live, may mga kanya-kanyang Viber groups, Telegram,
Yes.
WhatsApp groups sa mga villages. 'Di ba? Tapos doon na nagma-market ng mga luto nila, ng mga pagkain, deliveries. So that's also changing the landscape a bit. I'll touch on marketing a little bit kasi in terms of crisis, pasok pa rin naman ang marketing. It's either you stop completely or you innovate. So, Bernie, we know that when it comes, especially with your brand, no, Pen Shop, talagang heavy on marketing at kilala talaga ang mga tao na nagsusuot ng Pen Shop na mahal nating lahat bilang Pinoy. How will marketing change for during this crisis and even after?
Well, marketing basically is trying to, is communicating to the public of your brand promise. But marketing per se alone is not going to fulfill your entire value chain. That's why innovation is not just about coming up with new products, but it's also about the way you do things. So, well, marketing will allow you to remain relevant to your customers. Obviously, a lot of companies are now withdrawing or reducing their marketing budgets, which I think is a more conservative approach, and I think many companies are doing that. But you cannot also just erase yourself or go quiet or go silent with regards to keeping in touch with your customers. I think that's still relevant and that's still important. Perhaps in a more reduced manner or frequency. But again, to what I said earlier, you cannot just think of the now. You have to think of what is yet to come. So marketing is being able to keep your brand relevant in the minds of your customers. So, well, definitely we will still have those emotions, Charles. We're gonna still use a lot of social media. But in this day and age, whatever you say and whatever you promise, you really have to be authentic. So you cannot say that this is what I promised my customers, and yet you cannot deliver on that promise. Oh, that's gonna be disastrous to the business and to the brand. So marketing, I think, continues to play an important role.
Have you guys seen already or may nakita na po ba kayo in the landscape that we're going through right now of any good practices or mga examples that we want to talk about na kasi I'm sure there are models out there. Meron ng mga number one, meron ng mga naunang bansa, 'di ba? Na naka-experience nito. But also in the Philippine landscape, meron na po ba kayo nakita na who are doing this and practicing this and showing good example na rin that maybe for our viewers, yung mga entrepreneurs natin, may model silang matingnan.
Oh, actually, marami tayong learnings na rin na nakikita. Kaya nga sabi ko, it's best to benchmark also what others are doing, especially yung mga who are continue operating, no, kahit naka-skeletal crew, and how they go about it. Yung, for example, na-share din sa amin, halimbawa sa Contis Group, dun sa kanilang, sa kanilang production, no, they set a time para everyone is going to wash their hands, etc. You know, a lot of practices are being done from the not just from the above end, or dealing with customers, but also how you handle the people, no, or your back end. Kasi yun nga lahat i-review mo yung yung systems mo in place, which I think were shared earlier. Tapos nakakatuwa siya yung na-try mo na bang mag-grocery ng pinagpa-deliver ka na ng mga groceries and gulay? So, sabi ko napaka-convenient din naman palang magpa-deliver ng gulay for a few days na consumption. And ang Filipinos kasi very resilient and very adaptable. So, yung mga natin practices natin nagiging nahihuhulma natin kung ano yung calling, no? Tapos maganda rin na na e-site, yung sinasabi ni Bernie kanina in terms of marketing. May best practices din ang a lot of brands right now. Depende sa customer base mo eh. Yung katulad for example with Pen Shop, no? Meron silang mga activities doon sa site nila, sa page nila that actually encourages your followers to stay at home. Ano yung mga activities na pwede nilang gawin while they're staying at home. So, yung mga ganon, pwede nilang gawin that doesn't have to be brand centric. Sa amin naman, ano yung mga relaxation practices, so kasi may mga issues ngayon how to also be mentally well while you are on a quarantine. So you can support your followers or your friends or customers, previous customers mo doon na na i-encourage din sila doon sa patients na to stay at home right now. Cheryl, I'll just add to that, no? Go, sige. Because you mentioned about that promotion and using that, for someone like me who's in the travel business, this is a complete ban. Bawal talaga mag-travel. Yes.
So ang way of marketing namin sa Geron Travel is, as a matter of fact, next week we will connect to all our clients and we will send them a wellness podcast guide that we created with the life coach Umilu, and it is called Travel Within. So, parang regalo na rin namin yon. So, these are the things that napapaisip tayo. Ricky, in the food industry, ano ba, nag-draw na ba tayo for deliveries? Ano yung mga best practices na nakikita natin abroad and here? We can look up to.
Like what's happening now, which I've seen, Angkas had shifted to a delivery format already. Instead of being a riding company, now they've shifted to as a delivery format. So now we have three major players in the delivery format, which makes it more accessible to the consumer. The more, the merrier. So Angkas used to be a riding in tandem services. I heard a few days ago they've transformed themselves into a delivery format. Grab is doing very well. Lalamove is doing very well. On top of the other food deliveries like Food Panda and other brands. So one major, the biggest player in the food industry has moved into frozen food items for their famous Chicken Joy that you can cook at home. So I think most of them are already moving to that, gearing towards that. because of the stay-home policies.
One of the things that I also saw in the food industry, Ricky, is that brands like McDonald's, hiniwalay na nila yung logo nila para to show social distancing.
Social
Oo.
distancing.
Oo.
That's true.
Nakikita
That's
rin.
true.
Oo.
So, and then a lot of Viber group and WhatsApp group has come out already, selling practically anything under the sun.
Yeah. Share ko lang din, Chal, no? Kasi like katulad ako, based ako sa outside Manila. I'm not residing in Manila. So we also have difficulties with I've heard, of course, that Lala Move and Grab are have very good support in their customers in providing the delivery. Pero dito sa amin sa outside Manila, nasa Laguna ako eh. Hirap na hirap kami sa mga delivery points. Nagkakaroon tuloy ngayon ng opportunity for a lot of entrepreneurs to be community-based. So, meaning, kasi nga, ang mobility namin dito is within just your barangay, within just your town, may kailangan ka pang pass. So, eventually, even if we already pass quarantine, I think the opportunities for a lot of entrepreneurs to go community-based in servicing yung community mo, which is also good kasi ano to you lower your carbon footprint, you source locally, meron kang traceability ng mga produkto na binibili mo. So, yeah, it's also in a way exciting to see how things or businesses can evolve based on the needs. And I think sa mga probinsya, very common ito yung challenges na ganon, yung how to shop for your necessities, for your needs at home. Yung parang resurgence ulit ng mom and pop store. Ganon.
Okay, sorry, medyo dumami yung questions na pumasok sa akin, even from mga personal pages nagpapatanong. But I guess malapit na rin kasi yung lunchtime and we want everyone also to be with their families and to be able to process everything. One thing that we want to ask you guys, of course, Ricky, Bernie, and Cheryl, is that you've given so much wisdom to all of us in terms of business and exact processes that we can actually do. Can you share your words to our viewers right now? More than 800 people listening. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pagtanong nila, but we've actually gone past 1 hour already. So, na medyo talagang interested ang mga tao dito sa topic na ito. Can you kindly please share your message for retail, for food? But I'm also seeing some people may mga events industry, technology. Sige, sakupin na rin natin lahat. Let's listen to their needs as well. What can you, let's start off with Ricky. What can you advise?
Well, sa mga kanegosyo, don't worry. We will sooner or later overcome this. This is a part of life. Definitely, we will overcome it. Stay safe and literally, mabuhay tayong lahat.
Short, sweet, and direct to the point. Thank you, Ricky. Miss na namin ang pagkain ng foodie. So we can't wait to have you again. Thank you so much. Bernie.
Can't wait to be back in business.
Yeah. Well, stay safe, everyone. As they say, this too will pass, but we have to survive first, and that's why the necessary sacrifices will have to be made. It's not business as usual, and this is when I always remind our people that we need to pray more. I think in this day and age, in this time of difficulty, this is when we have to keep the faith, stay strong, because all of this will come to pass, and humanity will bounce back again. Thank you.
Humanity will bounce back again. I think that's something we will definitely have to keep in mind to get through this. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Yes, sa ating mga kapwa negosyantes, I think this this is an opportunity for us, a call na kumalma lang tayo, kalma lang muna tayo ngayon. And this is actually a call for solidarity to help the economy be jump-started after the quarantine is over. And take the time, instead of sharing fake news or, a lot of activities na hindi naman makakapag-improve sa'yo, take time also to spend quality time with your families and count your blessings. And yun nga yung sinasabi ko, take your time to plan for your next moves. At pag wala kang plano, pwede pong mangopya. Pwede naman tayong magkopyahan ng mga strategies. So, yun lang, and always believe that yes, the Filipino brand can.
As always. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Beautiful message. I think what's important is that we all come out of this, or we don't come out of this unchanged, unlearned, and that's why we're doing this. Thank you so much po para sa mga kaalaman ninyo, sharing your time. We know napaka-busy ninyo kahit na naka-lockdown kayo dyan sa inyong mga bahay-bahay. Busy pa rin ang pagiging entrepreneur ninyo. So thank you so much once again, Ricky D from Foodie Global, Bernie Lee, of course, from Golden ABC, and Michelle Quintana from PFA, President of PFA, and of course, Orispa. Maraming salamat po to the three of you. And now naman, I wanna direct to all our viewers out there. Huwag niyo pong kalimutan mag-comment sa inyong mga mensahe at mga aral na natutunan nyo today. I know marami kayong quotes na narinig na napaka-importante or you were able to resonate with. So don't forget po na banggitin po yan, samahan po yung pangalan ng, of course, ng Go Negosyo Mentor. Maaari kayo magkaroon ng chance na ma-feature sa ating Go Negosyo Comment of the Day. Use the official hashtag. Simple lang po, ang ating official hashtag is hashtag MentorMeOnline and hashtag Free Negosyo Mentorship. Thank you so much po sa pagsama ninyo. Also, we wanna announce po sa mga nanonood pa dyan, help fight COVID-19 outbreak in the Philippines. So